Thank you for singing. Adrian is a poet, activist, singer, and he's been around for a while. He's been in this longer than I have. So, Adrian, come on up. Give him a round of applause.
I hope that doesn't mean you're saying I'm older.
You're older.
Oops, because I'm not sure about that, but I may be. Let me tell you about my songwriting. Years ago, I wrote occasionally, and mostly poetry, back in my early college years. And then around in 2003, I was a member of a church where they were playing a lot of different music, and I also was influenced by something that's called Contra dancing, in which there was a lot of traditional music. So all this mixture of music, and somehow it worked out that I started writing lots of songs, or lyrics to established tunes a lot, most of the time, but occasionally I made up a tune myself. And I was in a church where there were a lot of get-togethers, and I got to know a lot of people, and there were a number of large families, and they celebrated birthdays together and all kinds of special occasions, and I became the person who wrote the song or the poem for the special occasion. Well, this first one I'm going to do, there's this couple named Jason and Julie Brown. And they had a couple of children when I first met them, very young children. And it just so happened that it was Jason, Julie, and Jude and Janie, all these JBs. And then we had something called Hope Stock. It was a summer get-together. It usually was around the 4th of July, so it lasted maybe three days, a couple nights, something like that. And they always had a talent show. Well, I won't tell you about the first time I sang in a talent show, but later on that year, or a couple of years after that, I wrote this. And I wrote something about Jason and Julie, but there wasn't a particular occasion to present it to them. So at the following year, a few months later, they had people sitting around, and they were encouraged to get up and tell stories about other people. Now this can be a dangerous thing. and some of them were quite embarrassing, and particularly among couples. And I'm sure there was a lot more said after they left among the couples. But I thought, well, this is an opportunity. And it just so happened that I had it with me. And, well, I'll go ahead. The thing was, it was never finished. And as I go along, you can see why. Jason and Julie were married in Texas a few years ago. Together since then they determined they wanted their family to grow. To keep all the naming consistent, they all would begin with a J. There's Jude and there's Janie and Jonah, another one now on the way. They wanted to have a large family, quite willing to do their own part. There's JB and JB and JB. Yes, they're off to quite a good start. We wonder how many are coming. Perhaps they'll be twins, don't you know? They'll all have initials of JB. I think that's the way it will go. And so, a few months later, 6 months later, I was standing in line and I wrote these next few lines on a napkin, so I would have it for that group. 6 months have passed since I wrote this. There's one thing that I like to say. There's Jude and there's Janie and Jonah, and Jillian's with us today. Well, I thought that was the end of that song. They had 4 kids at that point. But here goes another verse here. The story of Jason and Julie continues right up to today. The 5th child they named Jeremiah. The 6th child arrived just this May of 2010. And then, about that time, they were moving to Missouri. So they left Virginia, went to Missouri. And so here goes. It wasn't finished yet. Matter of fact, I finished this afternoon on the computer because I had to look up to figure out what the name of the last child was. Okay, here it goes. Josephine Brown was the youngest. Then another JB came to stay. Yes, Joel is the name of the 7th. All 7 whose names start with J. It's been a long time now since Texas. In Virginia, they just could not stay. Missouri's the home of this clan now. All their first names begin with AJ. I don't know if they still do it, but they, at one time when they had like 4 or 5 kids, they were homeschooling the kids too. So, Can I do another?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Well, I mentioned something called Contra dancing, and I don't know, anybody, raise your hand if you've ever heard of Contra dancing. Ah, Greg knows, I know, there's a few people. Yeah, it's great. Well, for those who don't know, it's similar to square dancing. It's, that's the closest I can say, and there's a caller, and we have a couple of places here in Hampton Roads area where I do it each month. And we always have a live band and traditional music. So I wrote this song, and you get to hear it first. Hopefully someday I'll do it at a dance. Unfortunately, I've written this just a few weeks after I wrote another song, which I did, actually, I got people that danced to sing a song. So I had, it was in honor of a person who established the dance up in Norge, on the other side of Williamsburg, and he'd been doing it for close to 40 years, 30, well, it's 30-some years, we'll say, 35 years probably. So, again, I used a familiar tune, familiar to some of us anyway. Okay. If you're not dancing, if you're just walking, you're missing out on so much fun. Get up that treadmill, come out and you will feel like singing along with everyone. We're Contra dancing from Norwich to Norfolk, some at Glen Echo and Charlottesville. Up there in Richmond and overseas now, you can Contra dance in England if you will. We love to come out and hear the music as the musicians play all night. The wolves are, excuse me. The wolves are heavy, we leave behind us. As we dance here together, spirits light. I need some water.
Get you some.
Yeah, I got a bottle right here. Oh, I have a glass also. Excuse me, it's been a while since I sang 2 songs in a row. I do open mics over in Norfolk where they limit you to 4 minutes. But they have 30, sometimes they have 35 people in waiting, so that's why it's limited. So, there's no requirement for you to dance here, and everyone is free to choose. Come out and join us, you all are welcome. Just bring along a pair of dancing shoes. A celebration, a get together, a way to exercise that's fun. For young and old now, it's Contra dancing. Keep on dancing, the night has just begun. And some will travel to Fort England, and there'll be tourists and dancers too. You can go with them and have a great time. You'll be international dancers when you're through. And let me tell you something about the dancing. It's not just the dancing. This weekend on Sunday afternoon, I got together with, well, some of them were dancers and some were other friends of a couple I know out in York County and on the Pocosin River. And these people have been like, almost like family. And so we do things together. We get together on holidays and as well as do the dancing. But anyway, it's open to anybody, and if anybody's interested, I can tell you more about it. And maybe I'll wait till later to do some more this time. Sorry about the voice. I hope I don't lose my voice. I got a big occasion next weekend.
Take a short break and see if it comes back. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Adrian.
Yeah.
I've always been amazed at how he writes for particular situations. And we always used to meet at Greg's house. Greg's over here with Ann, and work on in their songwriting group. And I was always amazed and very impressed with how you did that. Next is Fred. I met Fred a few years ago.